Suprabhat, good morning to all of you. We'll start our session with a small prayer. Mandali. Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Today we are privileged to have Dr. Gauri Mahulikar ji with us. Madam, welcome for joining us out of your very busy schedule. And on behalf of Vivekananda Prabodhini Mumbai and Vivekananda Kendra Kanyakumari, I extend a warm welcome to you as well as to all the people who are attending here. Dr. Gauri Mahulikar ji, I'll just try to briefly introduce in a limited time whatever I could gather. She is a very well-known scholar and erudite speaker, needs no introduction, and a well-known speaker on Indian knowledge systems. Presently, she is academic director of Chinmaya International Foundation and taking the great work and message of India, especially of Gurudev Swami Chinamaynanda, all over the world. Earlier, she was professor and dean of faculty, Chinmaya Vishwavidyapeeth, which is deemed to be university. And earlier to that, she was professor and head, University of Mumbai. Dr. Gauri Mahulikar ji was Gurudev Tagore Chair of Comparative Literature Professor and former head of the Department of Sanskrit at the Mumbai University. She holds a doctorate in Sanskrit on Vedic Elements in Puranic Mantras and Rituals, an author who has published 6 books and over 80 research articles in English, Marathi, Hindi, and Sanskrit. Dr. Mahulikar has mentored several doctoral students, 12 of whom have successfully earned their doctorates. Dr. Mahulikar was instrumental in launching courses in manuscriptology, Bhakti literature, and mysticism in the Sanskrit Department, and has coordinated a UGC-funded project on digital preservation of palm leaf manuscripts from 2010 to 15. She was awarded the Maneckji Limji Gold Medal for her dissertation on ancient Greek dramas and Bharata's Natya Shastra from Mumbai University. Some of her many other awards are the Ramakrishna Award by the Canadian Education Foundation, Ontario for Propagation of Sanskrit 2003, Gaurav Puraskar by Kala Sadan Mumbai 2011, Kavi Kulaguru Kalidas Sanskrit Sadhana Puraskar by Maharashtra State Government 2013, Adi Sankaracharya Puraskar awarded by H.H. Shri Jayendra Saraswati Mahaswamigal, the Sankaracharya of Kanchi Kamakoti Pitham 2014, Savitribal Phule Puraskar by Mumbai University in 2015, and Indira Behere Puraskar by Tilak Maharashtra Vidyapeeth, Pune in 2015. Indeed, it's a great privilege and honor, madam, to have you with us, especially on this topic we requested of Ramayana and Mahabharata, which is so close to Indian mind and heart, and we all want to know about it. Today is 25th December, is considered as Samartha Bharat Parvadin. On this day, Swami Vivekananda was on Shripad Shila, which is the rock where we have faith that Uma Parvati has done meditation there for Shiva. So there Swamiji sat for 3 days, 25th, 26th, 27th of December. And then he himself wrote that sitting on that last tip of rock, I hit upon a plan. He got the mission of his life and then he decided to go to America. So today is a very significant day to understand. Rock Memorial, which was built up there, was blessed and inspired by many people. And one of the prominent person who inspired it was Swami Chinamaynanda. So we had a great connection in that regard also. I now request you to start your session and enlighten us with this subject. Thank you. Participants, a few just instructions is please keep mute throughout the lecture and your videos will be off just to get more bandwidth. And after 1 hour, close to 1 hour, we'll have a break and then next session will start within 5 minutes. We'll have question answers separately. So kindly put your question answers at the end of the sessions. Thank you so much. Madam, please start.
Hari Om. Thank you, Dr. Narendra Joshi, and I'm indebted to Vivekananda Prabodhini and Vivekananda Kendra Kanyakumari for this wonderful opportunity to speak on the two, what you can say, the streams in flowing in the blood of every Indian, Ramayana and the Mahabharata. Let me start with a invocation to Sri Rama. लोकाभिरामं रणरङ्गधीरं राजीवनेत्रं रघुवंशनाथं कारुण्यरूपं करुणाकरन्तं श्रीरामचन्द्रं शरणं प्रपद्ये. I think this Subhashita has all the qualities. Buddha Kaushika has, amalgamated whatever Valmiki had to say in 20-30 gunas of of Sri Rama. They are all embedded in this one single verse. So my approach to this cultural studies in Ramayana, and then after an hour on Mahabharata, will mainly deal with the three principles of Indian ethos: Satyam, Shivam and Sundaram. So Satyam would give you all the facts, the messages, the facts which can't be revoked, which can't be challenged, which can't be refuted or rebuked, and Shivam is, of course, the eternal values, the goodness in everybody, and Sundaram would cover, the then prevalent, say, Veshabhusha and jewelry and this and that. So if I divide this in these three, I thought it could be systematized. Otherwise, these are huge epics, and 1 hour is like Gagar mein Sagar Bharna. So I thought I would do with Satyam, Shivam and Sundaram. And as I rightly said, the spread of the Indian culture, spread of the two epics, then the multi-layered demography in the epic, then value practices, etc., etc., and lastly the Sundaram concept. So coming to the Satyam part, I hope you are seeing my shared screen, right? So coming to the Satyam part, the things that can't be changed or challenged and refused or refuted. But while doing so, we have to keep in mind that Ramayana is, Valmiki Ramayana especially, is more normative, while Mahabharata is descriptive in its approach. So the perspective differs. Now, just a brief of the 7 kandas of the Ramayana. The first kanda has the Balakanda, the would-be King Rama takes up the travel with sage Vishwamitra. Vishwamitra is like a walking university, and he connects Rama with various people. So this is something like extramural education. It's education beyond the 4 walls and the life lessons which Rama learns with Vishwamitra. Then Ayodhya Kanda, the second Kanda is, it depicts in a line, life is a roller coaster ride, and you have to deal it with a balanced mind, and good pieces of administration counseling has been done in this Kanda. Third Kanda, Aranya Kanda, gives you the process of eliminating demons and the demonic tendencies in people and re-establishing what is good. So that is Aranya Kanda, death, killing of so many Rakshasas by Rama. Fourth gives you in the Kishkindha Kanda the importance of friendship, counseling and strategic planning to achieve your goals. Fifth, Sundarakanda is the most beautiful and most read, widely popular. That depicts Sita not as a victim but as a victor, and her determination. And secondly, it brings out Hanuman's as a strong ambassador and his bhakti. So that gives you the Sundarakanda. The 6th Yuddhakanda is Ravana got killed due to his own folly. So you are, responsible for your own progress, development, or your own destruction. So that is the message. If you neglect good advice, you are sure to doom. And the 7th Kanda, Lavakusha singing Ramayana and Avatara Samapti. So this is in brief the 7 Kandas of the Ramayana. Because it was only 7, I could abridge it in 7 lines. For Mahabharata, it is very difficult. I tell you in advance only. So Valmiki Ramayana, now to deal with the Satyam principle of that. Valmiki Ramayana, significant role in cultural transmission from India to Southeast Asian countries, Hindasia, which is Indonesia, Hind Asia. And this happened mainly through the traders. Gold attracted Indian ambassadors, Indian merchants, and all the countries of SEA, Southeast Asia. They are known as Suvarna Dvipa, Swarana Bhumi, and in China also, in Chinese, it is called as Kin Lin Kin, meaning land of gold. So Suvarna Bhumi attracted the attention of the traders. That was one of the reasons why traders went overseas. And when they went, naturally, they carried along with them their culture, and their culture is scripture, Ramayana. Then another reason for this, Ramasya Ayanam, it is not exactly Rama going, but Ramayana also going across the borders. Another reason could be Hindu tradition always crowned the eldest of the son as the next would-be king. And if a king has 3, 4 or multiple sons, the others had no political future as such. And therefore, they went to the neighboring islands and established rule. Apna naseeb azmane ke liye. So they had that instinct of ruling. They are the Kshatriyas, and we see so many Pallava kings, and the Chola kings going across, not only to Indonesia, to Sri Lanka as well. So therefore, we have so many other kings. There is a third reason, and that is the pilgrims or the Buddhist monks. Buddhist monks came at a later stage, but pilgrims, they went from places to places and they carried with them their own cultural text, that is Ramayana. So these are the possible 2, 3 logical reasons for the spread of Ramayana outside India. Now the dynasties, the families which went outside and ruled, Kaundinya dynasty, for example, in Cambodia, Shailendra dynasty in Yavadvipa, that is Java, Sri Vijaya dynasty in Suvarnadvipa, that is Sumatra, and Sri Mara dynasty in Champa, that is modern Vietnam. So these are the different dynasties which ruled outside India. Then another reason, strong reason could be, if you see in the next perhaps slide, I have borrowed a figure from Google Swami, and it shows you the spread of Hinduism all over the world, especially India and Southeast Asian countries. So Sanskrit for centuries was the only link language, not only for India, but for other countries to join, And thereafter it became Pali with the spread of Buddhism, but Sanskrit initially was the only link language. And it got propagated by the kings, the traders, the travelers, the ambassadors, pilgrims, merchants, monks, mendicants, and so many other people. Various versions, therefore, of Ramayana, the adaptations, the translations were produced in the different countries, having their own geographical data and embedding their own cultural ethos. Original Ramayana of Valmiki changed due to social, cultural, ethnic, geographical, also religious influences. Yes, religious influences also, because, for example, we have Rama depicted as Bodhisattva after the spread of Buddhism. And Ramayana we have in Malaysian context that Allah gives the boons to Dasharatha. So this is all 2 religions, 2, 3 religions mixing up and maintaining the original core, but bringing in the details as and when required. So the cultural and religious influences also we can see in all this. So this is the figure, the source link is given above, and you can see India, the entire India is Hindu. See, this is the heartland of Hinduism, Indian subcontinent, the Brihat India. This is not only the modern India, but this also till Afghanistan, Pakistan, Afghanistan. So this is the Brihattara Bharata. And then a realm of Hindu influence you can see in this light yellow color here and here also. Here all these things, this is Sumatra, then Java, this is Indonesia, this is Thailand, Burma, all these cities. So they have influence, and all this happened along the eastern coast of India. So be it the Chennai or the Visakhapatnam or Kolkata, today's Puri. So this eastern coast, from these coast, you can see the kings coming to far off cities, and even they went till, Philippines in the Pacific Ocean. So this is the spread. You are like amazed to see the spread of Ramayana from the heartland of India to all these different islands, which are located very far from the Indian subcontinent. Now, once we know that this has been spread outside, how they are culturally depicted, how they are depicted in the architecture also. So we can just have a relief, a relief pictured here. It shows this is the Rama fighting with Ravana. So this is the Rama, and this is not like Ranakarkasha Rama or Ranadhira Gambhira Rama. This is more of a compassionate, the long eyes of the Buddhas, so filled with Karuna Paravara. So the depiction of Rama and his movement also, this is not a vigorous movement of holding his Dhanushya, but this is a very gentle way of holding his Dhanushya. So all this became typically, like a Cambodian sculpture rather than an Indian Rama being depicted there. So old name of Cambodia is Kampuchea, and Khmer dynasty ruled over it. And they have a poem, Ramakher, that is Ramakher is Kirti. And that is, we further learn about Ramakien, so this is Ramakirti. This was composed in 16th century, and this is performed as a dance ballet called Lakhon. And reliefs of the Battle of Lanka, this is one of such relief. This is from the 12th century from Angkor Wat in Cambodia, the most famous and the largest Vishnu temple complex in the world, though it is not a living, Vishnu is not worshipped there. And Rama is shown as Bodhisattva, Buddhankura. He is called Buddha Ankura, and therefore a soft person and not a very fierce fighter. And naturally, the Buddhist principles of metta, that is friendship, karuna, compassion, mudita, joy, and upekha, equanimity, are transferred to his character as an adjustment to the Buddhist culture. So though the Ramayana spread, it carried with it the flavor of Buddhism and more of compassion of Buddha. Then Ramayanas outside India, again we come to this Ramakien of Thailand. This is the very famous poem. This in fact is a national book of Thailand. Ramakien is the national book of Thailand. And we must be very glad and proud that in 1989, Professor Satyavat Shastri from Delhi University, he translated the Ramakien into Sanskrit called Ramakirti Mahakavyam in 25 cantos, 25 sargas, and about 1200 verses, stanzas in 14 different meters, Anushtup being the main. And not only that, he was honored with the first ever Sahitya Sanskrit Jnanapitha Award for his work. Till then, Jnanapitha was given to all other Indian languages, but not to Sanskrit. So the only Sanskrit Jnanapitha awardee is Professor Satyavrat Shastri for his wonderful translation of Ramakien as Ramakirti Mahakavya. Not only that, this is just a literary part of that. But actual geography of Thailand, if you see, the main city, the old capital of Thailand called Ayutthaya, is founded in 1347 and is said to have been modeled on Ayodhya. In fact, Ayodhya phonetically also resembles and echoes the name Ayodhya, which is Rama's birthplace. Unfortunately, we are now settled. Yes, it is Rama's birthplace. So Ramakian performed as Khan. This was, see, there is a literature, Ramakian. There is a capital situated, modeled on Ayodhya. Now there is a performing art, a Vaiharika Kala. It's a dance drama called as Khan. It's a mask dance, and Rama is called Fra Ram. He is very much human there, but later on he was considered as an incarnation, avatara, as we feel Rama is an avatar of Mahavishnu. Similarly, Fra Ram is later on considered to be an incarnation of Fra Narai. Narai is Narayana. And Hanuman, of course, gets a greater importance in Ramakian. And outside India, wherever Ramayana went, it became popular. Hanuman stole the show. I mean, Hanumanji is more like a hero, and Rama comes only as a side hero, in the other Ramayanas. Again, in Laos, Fra Lak, Fra Lam. Fra Lak, Fra Lam. Lam is Lakshman, and Lak, Fra Lak, Fra Lak, Lak is Lakshman, and Fra Lam, Lam is Ram. Ralayoho abhedaha. हे म्हणजे बोबडं बोलल्यासारखं वाटतं मराठीमध्ये ना, रामला लांब म्हणायचं. But this is how they also speak in their own Laotian language. So Ramayana, and this is mixed with the Jataka story of Rama Jataka or Dasharatha Jataka. Then in Burma, we have Ramayana, Rama as Yama. So Yama Jhatdav, and Ram is considered to be Yama, and Sita is called Thida, Thida, Thida. In Malaysia, it is Hikayat Seri Rama. Seri is Shri. Hikayat is Kahani hai. Shri Ram ki Kahani, Hikayat. So in Malaysia, it is Hikayat Seri Rama. And interestingly enough, as I said, two religions get mixed here. It's an admixture of Hinduism and Quran, I mean Islamism. So Dasharatha is a great grandson of Adam. And Ravana got boons directly from Allah. So this is how the Ramayana, Hikayat Seri Rama, speaks there. And Sita is considered to be daughter of Ravana. In Bengali, Krittivasa Ramayana, for example, Sita is stated to be the daughter of Ravana. In the Jain Ramayanas also, Sita is stated to be the daughter of Ravana. We come to that not in detail, just a reference. In Hindasia, in Indonesia, Java, it is Kakawin Ramayana, and it is more influenced by Bhatti Kavya, that is Ravanavadha, rather than Valmiki Ramayana. So Bhatti exercises more influence on Kakawin Ramayana. In Philippines, it is Maharadiya Lavana, that is Maharaja Ravana. Lavana is Ravana, so more importance given to Ravana. In Tibet, also there is Khotani Ramayana. So we have Ramayana in all Asian and Southeast Asian countries, so to say. And interestingly, in Khotani Ramayana, though Valmiki Ramayana doesn't speak of Lakshmana Resha, Khotani Ramayana mentions Lakshmana Resha. Then, of course, in Buddhas, we have Dasharatha Jataka. In the Jainism, we have Trishashti Shalaka Purusha and Paumacharya, that is Padmacharitam, which is the story of Ramayana. Then Guru Gobind Singh wrote Govinda Ramayana in 1655, in 17th century, where, it is a very symbolic and spiritual type of Adhyatmika Ramayana, where Rama is Atma, Sita is Buddhi, Lakshmana is Manas, and Ravana is Ahankara. And Lakshmana Rekha, of course, is mentioned that you should not cross the boundaries set by your mind. Once you cross it, then there is a doom. Then you are swayed in the Ahankara, which comes in the form of Ravana. So the Buddhi is stolen, Buddhi is abducted by Ahankara. and therefore it goes away from the Atma Tattva. So that is the spiritual message which it gives. In Nepal, for example, our own neighbor country, Bhanubhakta Acharya wrote Bhanubhakta Ramayana in the 19th century. So these are all the things which you cannot refute or cannot challenge. Now this was outside India. In India also, there are various regional versions of Ramayana. The earliest being composed by Kamban in Tamil, called Kamba Ramayana, the 12th century. Still it required, so many centuries after Valmiki Ramayana to have a regional version. Tamil being the second most ancient language after Sanskrit. According to Tamilians, it is the first ancient most language, but we feel Sanskrit is the most ancient language. So Tamil Kamban Ramayana is the first. Then we have the Karnataka, in Kannada, we have Pampa Ramayana and Torave Ramayana, Kumudendu Ramayana by the Jain Acharya, Kumudendu Acharya in the 13th century. Then right there, from the southern part, the Tamil Nadu and Karnataka, we go to the northeast in the 14th century, Haptakanda Ramayana in Assam. Haptakanda Ramayana by Madhava Kandali, that was written. And recently, 2 months back, I spoke on the ancientness and uniqueness of Madhava Kandali and how he is older than the Bengali Krittivasa Ramayana, just 2 months back. So Bengal's Krittivasa Ramayana is dated 15th century. Madhava Kandali wrote in the 14th century. Then we have in Odisha, Dandi Ramayana or Jagamohan Ramayana in the 16th century. In the same century in Maharashtra, we have Bhavartha Ramayana by Santa Eknath. Then we have, in Andhra Pradesh, Ranganatha Ramayana in the 16th century. Another very interesting Ramayana is Molla Ramayanamu. And this is written by Molla. Molla is a woman and she is the daughter of a Kumbhakara, a potter's daughter. And I made a presentation on Molla Ramayana somewhere in Jorhat some 5-6 years back. So this is a very interesting Ramayana. And she being a woman, she doesn't want the Uttarakanda at all. There is no Sita Tyaga in her Ramayana, and her Telugu language is so rich with Sanskrit. I didn't find it any difficulty to read the Telugu written, of course, in Devanagari. I read a Devanagari version, but no problem in understanding because it is rich with Sanskrit. Then in Goa, we have Krishnadas Sharma in the 15th century, write Ramayana. Then Awadh, of course, Ramacharitamanasa, written by Goswami Tulsidas in the 16th century. In Kerala, it is Elutachan in the 16th century, written Adhyatma Ramayana. And Kerala has a very good Ramayana tradition. I'm working on another project of Ramayana traditions in Kerala. Maybe sometime later we'll come out with the output. So Elutachan and the entire month, the Karkataka Masa in July, is celebrated as Ramayana Masam, and every Hindu household in Kerala will read Sundarakanda at least, if not the entire Adhyatma Ramayana, at least Sundarakanda, and light a lamp in the evening before Rama's Vigraha or Rama's picture. Then in Gujarat, we have not a separate Ramayana per se, but Premananda Swami translated Ramacharitmanas into Gujarati, but that is very late, I mean in 17th century. And in Urdu also we have Tarjuma-e Ramayan or Ramayan Kushtar, but that also happened in the 17th, 18th century. So these are the various regional Ramayana versions. Now this spread of Ramayana also speaks of the greatness. The thing will spread only if it has some substance and potential to be carried further. Then we come to another state, the Satyam aspect, which can't be challenged. That is the description of Ayodhya in details in the Balakanda itself of the Ramayana. And it is stated that Ayodhya city is 12 yojanas long and 3 yojana broad. There are broad highways, Rajapatha, shady trees lining on the both sides. There are flower beds which are watered every day, various gates to the palaces. In fact, in Ayodhya Kanda, I remember having read that when Ramachandra goes before his coronation is declared, right? So he wants to go and take the blessings of Dasharatha. In the chariot, he moves and he crosses 4 gates and goes to the palace of Dasharatha. So that is the description there. So the palaces were so big. I remember having seen Srirangapattanam. There are ramparts, and in every rampart inside there will be enough space to move around in chariots. So many gates and so many different markets were there, localities of artists, bards, big palaces adorned with cannons. The word used for cannon is Shatagni. Shatan Hanti iti Shatagni. Then there are theaters where only women danced and sang. Only women, not men. Only women danced and sang. Vadhu Nataka Sanghaishcha Sanyukta Natyashala. Then many gardens, buildings for secret counseling, Kutagara or Mantragara, 7-storied buildings, Vimana, Ashtapadakara, Nagari. So very beautiful description of Ayodhya. And it was a very affluent city, There was enough food grains for all, water as sweet as sugarcane. Sarayu water as sweet as sugarcane. And the best breed of horses and best breed of elephants they could get there. In fact, the preparations of Ashwamedha of Rama is described, and various camps have been built for the visitors, and the houses are built, the temporary houses are built for the visitors. Agnichayana and 21 Yupa Nirmana. So such a huge, on a very vast mass scale, all these constructions were constructed. Similarly, the city of Lanka is described, and we have a beautiful description by Hanuman in the Sundarakanda. City of Lanka created by Vishwakarma himself, and it is situated atop the mountain, and there are white palaces because Sudha Dautani Harmyani, they are also 7-8 storied ramparts, and the moats, around the city filled with water. Moats are Khandak, Sabandha Bazuni, Sahu Bazuni, Khandak, filled with water, then spiked with iron tridents, Trishula, and Ravana's palace is described in beautiful words, and it could accommodate chariots, picture galleries, pleasure houses, artificial hillocks, the mounds, the pleasure mounds, beautiful quadrangles, and so on and so forth. So this is a beautiful description of Lanka's architecture as well. Then there are so many archaeological evidences, inscriptions based on Ramayana, and they are found not only in India but outside India, especially in the Southeast Asian countries, Java, Champa, Vietnam, and Cambodia. And Ramasetu, of course, is the most favorite, and people in Ayodhya were praising Rama when he returned after killing Ravana. They were praising Ramasetu. The food and drinks, the then social conditions. Food and drinks means the social conditions. 4 types of food are mentioned by Valmiki in the Ayodhya Kanda 68th chapter. Bhaksha, Bhojya, they are prepared from meat and grains and cereals. Then Choshya and Leiha. Choshya is that which is sucked, and Leiha, that which is licked. So something like fruits, juice lete hain usko, and then honey, ghee, etc. And he mentions the 6 rasas. In fact, drinking of Sura is like the Pushpasava, Drakshasava, Palasava, etc. And there is a mention in Uttarakanda, Sita Madaya Hastena Madhumaireyakam Shuchi Payayamasa Kakutsaha Shachimiva Purandaraha. As Purandara would make Shachi, or offer Shachi a chashaka of pushpasava. Similarly, Rama, Kakutsaha, is offering pushpasava, fruit drink, to Sita. And Mausani cha Sumrishtani, Phalani, Vividhani cha, etc. So many grains and cereals are mentioned, like Tandula, Shamaka, Shali, Nivara. These are all the varieties of rice. Nivara is vari. Then Laja, Bodhuma, Yava, Masha, Chanaka, Mudga, Kulatha, Odana, Payasa, Kshiroudana, Gudaudana, Mausaudana, that is biryani. All these are mentioned. What is more significant and what attracted my attention while reading in the Yuddha Kanda is a recipe of Raga Shandava. Raga Shandava is the name of a variety of food. That is an apupa, that is a sweet, what you can say, dessert. Kesaradhibi kritavaranaha shadrasopetaha pupaha Raga Shandavaha. So Tilak, the Tikakara of Ramayana, he gives it the description of this. So this is like something like Chirota or Khaja, something like that, Balushahi, and Kesara, etc. Saffron streaks are there. So very wonderful recipe is there. Of course, this was all cooked food for the city people and others, but Rakshasas and Kiratas, they also ate raw meat. Okay, along with the cooked food, they ate raw meat as well. Spices, salt, pepper, nutmeg, jati, etc. Fruits, so many fruits are mentioned. And some fermented asavas. Asava is a fermented fruit drink, that is also mentioned. Then there is a multi-layered demography. Multi-layered demography. Administration-wise, in the Balakanda itself, Dasharatha's Sabha is mentioned. In the Ayodhya Kanda, Rama giving advice to Bharata and description of chaotic condition in the absence of a king, and therefore you have to go and rule over Ayodhya as a king. So that is all, the chaotic condition in the absence of king, Matsanyaya, Bhavishyati, etc. So beautiful piece of administrative advice given by Rama. And a true leader has to assimilate and integrate. So he advises in that manner to Bharata, how he should behave as a king. So we have multi-layered demography. When I say there are urbanized people, the Nagarikas, Rishis and Munis dwelling on the outskirts of the city in the forest land. Then there are fishermen like Guha. There are tribal people like Shabari. And Rama mingles with them. There is no distancing from these people. There are so many asuras mentioned along with Ravana, Bibhishana, Kharadushana, Shurpanakha, Tataka, Viradha, etc. Then some totemistic tribes. I feel they are totemistic like Vanarats and Jambukas, the bears, the monkeys and the bears. They need not be the original monkeys and the bears. They may be the totemistic tribes worshipping the monkeys and the bears, and perhaps having certain things as a symbol of their reverence to these. So maybe they are having a tail like the monkeys, or they are having a mask like the Jambukas. So Jambavan, Vali, Sugriva, Hanuman, they are mentioned. Besides that, there are so many other tribes like Barbara, Yavana, Shaka, Mlecha, Hirata, Harita, Kirata, etc. And they are born from the Kamadhenu, the cow of Vasishtha. So this was all the Satyam. It was a very, very long one, and I have 20 minutes now. So in Shivam and Sundaram, I will take you across this. So Shivam principle is basically the good principle. Everything, all religions preach good only, right? At the end of the day. So samskara, the eternal values and ideals in all human relationships set by Ramayana. Ramayana, we look at it more as an idolizing Rama from human to divine, and therefore how he behaves with his parents, Rama with his parents, Rama with his younger brothers, Rama with his enemies. When Ravana is dead, there is no enmity, and therefore he says Maranantani Vairani, right? Rama remarks Maranantani Vairani. And he asks, he consoles rather Mandodari, who is lamenting on the death of Ravana. He consoles Tara on the death of Vali. And then, so Rama with enemies is, how you should behave with enemies. Rama with his subordinates, how he behaves with his subordinates, with his subjects, with his devotees, and with his friends. Like Vibhishana becomes his friend, Sugriva becomes his friend. And with Sugriva, he has signed a treaty, Agni Saksham. There is a treaty signed witnessed by Agni. So how he treats his friends, So these are idols and ideals in every human relationship where Rama poses high enough as an ideal to emulate. Lakshmana is a constant companion. So how a Bharata should be, how a constant companion should be. Bharata is a loyal and devout younger brother. Then Shatrughna is also loyal and he is more of a bravery incarnate. Shatrun Hanti iti Shatrughna. And therefore Rama also deputes him for killing Lavanasura. He doesn't depute Lakshmana or Bharata. He deputes Shatrughna for that. Sita, again, not a victim, but a victor, a single parent, Ekala Palaka, how determined she is, and why we should picturize her as an Abala Nari, Though she is sitting under the tree at Ashokavana, she is not at all Abala. She is determined and she is, very assertive in what she wants to do. And Hanuman is devotion, bhakti incarnate and faith incarnate. So these are all the ideals. Along with that, for values, we have a word in Sanskrit called Mulya. And Mulya is derived from the word Mula. Mula is roots. So Mulya is that which takes us to the roots, right? And therefore Mulya, we have to take pride in what we are. We should never, overlook where our roots are lying. We should always be sticking to our roots. So the values teach us that lesson. Unless the roots are strong, the plants can't grow. And therefore the roots, the samskaras, have to be very, very strong. Rama is a personification of personal, social, and societal goodness and all the values. So he is, the Balakanda starts with the dialogue between Narada and Valmiki, right? Kon vasmin sampratam loke gunavan viryavan dharmatnya pratadnyascha etc. Satyavakya dridhavrata charitra yukta sarva bhuta hite rata vidwan samartha priyadarshana atmavan jitakrodha dyutiman. So many. And then Narada also adds more values to that. Vashi, Niyatatma. And he describes him personally also, So this would come in Saundarya also. How the physique of a man should be. He is Kambu Griva, Vipulamsa, Mahabahu, Mahahanu, Mahoraska. No wonder Kalidasa imitates Valmiki when he says Vyudho Raskaha, Vishaskanda, Shalapranshuhu, Mahabhuja, while describing the Raghu kings. So these are various, the physical attributes as well as the spiritual attributes. And then it is stated, Narada says, Samudra iva Gambhirye. He is unfathomable as an ocean as far as Gambhirya is concerned. Dhairyena Himavaniva. Kalagni Sadrishaha Krodhe. But if he gets angered, he is like Kalagni. Shamaya Prithvi Samaha. As far as forgiving is concerned, he is as good as Prithvi. Ghanadena Samaha Tyage. Ghana, that is the cloud. It pours out all the water, all his belongings. So Tyage. And Satye Dharma Ivaparaha is Dharma Ivaparaha. Kshatra Dharma Ivashritaha. He is as if, personification of Kshatra Dharma. And he is an embodiment of truth and service. Na Anrita Katho Vidwan Vruddhanam Pratipujakaha, says Ayodhya Kanda. Then the value of gratitude, and the famous example given is from Kishkindha Kanda, where Sugriva is warned by angered Lakshmana. Sugriva, once he gets back his kingdom and he gets back Tara and Ruma, both his wives. He's engrossed and indulged in all the carnal pleasures. He forgets that he has made some promise to Rama. And then Lakshmana angrily goes and then warns him, Kritagne Nasti Nishkritihi. And not only that, he warns him, says that, what is that? The path by which Vali has been sent, that is broad enough to accommodate you as well. You know, that is broad enough to accommodate you also. So that's a warning. So the value of gratitude, the value of dharma, of course, the righteousness, Ramo dharma bhritambaraha, and Vibhishana, Malyavan also stress on this quality of Rama. And Kausalya is stated to be doing Vishnu's puja when Rama came to tell her that I'm going to Vanavasa. So Vishnu was being worshipped in the temples and she was offering in the fire. So women also could offer, offerings in the fire themselves. Negatively, vices are condemned. So virtues have to be inculcated. So weaknesses or vices, they are to be condemned, especially excessive indulgence in the pleasures causing calamity to the clan. We have the example of Dasharatha, how he was indulged in pleasures with his youngest and beautiful wife Kaikeyi, and therefore he could not, revoke what she said. Now, and we have this lesson from Mahabharata, of course, Najatu Kamaha, Kamanam Upabhogena Shamyati. And therefore, moderately, everything, Rama is a Maryada Purushottama. So for everything, he sets out a Maryada. Then the backbiting, Paishunam, Manthara's example is there. And the golden deer, Asambhavam Hema Mridasya Janma, Tathapi Ramo, Lulubhe Mridaya. So the greed. And then we later on come across in the Bhagavad Gita, Kama Krodhascha Lobhascha, Narakasya Trividhamidam Dwaram, right? So how this becomes a Narakadwar. And then in the Shivam concept, the best value is the concept of Ramarajya, which is given in the very first kanda. And there are so many verses describing that there is a general well-being of the people, Niramayaha, Arogaha, Durbhiksha Bhayavarjitaha, Tushtaha, Pushtaha, Dharmikaha, Prarishta Muditaha Lokaha. So very general well-being. Then well-being of women in particular, that Nariyascha Avidhavaha Nityam Bhavishyanti. So Avidhavaha, that means age-wise, there will be decadence, and Na Putra Maranam Kechid Drakshanti Purushaha. So there won't be Akala Mrityu. And therefore, if you remember, there was once an instance of Akala Mrityu, and then Rama had to investigate, and then there followed the Shambhu Kavata. Then the Adhidaiva and Adhibhuta, how they are also very favorable. Na Agnijam Bhayam, na Apsub Majjanti Jantavaha, na Vatajam Bhayam Kinchit, na Pi Jvarakritam Tatha. So there is no Bhaya. And then there are the basic needs of the people are taken care of. Maslow's triangle, the physiological needs, if they are taken care of, the majority are happy. Only a few would require, the emotional satisfaction, the intellectual satisfaction, and very few on the top, spiritual satisfaction. Mostly it is physiological needs. We call it Maslow's triangle, but that has been given in our ethos as Panchakosha. Annamaya starting, then Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya. So Nachapi Kshudbhayam Tatra, Nataskara Bhayam, Nagarani Charashtrani, Dhanadhanya. Even now, a very well-to-do concept, well-to-do kingdom is called Ramarajya. Then in Ramarajya, you should also have, an atonement or prayashchitta for any wrongdoings. Nothing in the world is irreparable, You can repair, you can rectify your own mistakes by atoning for that, by taking prayashchitta. The best example is the Ahalya. The story of Gautam and Ahalya and Indra. told by Vishwamitra to Rama. So I won't go into the detail. There are other talks on Ahalya episode also. So Ahalya was brought into the mainstream by Rama. Once Rama accepted her, that means Gautama also then accepted her and started living with her. And then he got Putra Prapti Shatananda, and the whole world accepted her. So there is nothing like, stamping a sinner as outcast forever. That could be brought, the sinner could be brought in the mainstream. Then coming to the Sundaram, the third principle, the description of Rama's symmetrical body I already mentioned, that is in the Balakanda itself. Then description of Ravana in the Sundarakanda. The description of Ravana is very beautifully. Valmiki has devoted so many verses to describe the enemy or the demonic power of Ravana. So we should consider Vyasa and Valmiki are the real chroniclers. I mean, they are the historians par excellence, because they don't just, favor the hero who won, but even the anti-hero who lost the battle. So the drinks and musical instruments are described at length in Sundarakanda, especially beautiful descriptions, Hanuman, because he doesn't know Hanuman where to find Sita in Lanka, and therefore he first goes to the palace of Ravana only, and there he sees so many beautiful women, but then he says, no, Sita can't be in the palace, and then he goes outskirts and then he finds, So when he enters the palace of Ravana, there are beautiful descriptions. So ornaments, Rakshasa men and women wore many ornaments. Ravana's wives and women guarding Sita, there are contrasting descriptions. The ornaments differ. And Kaikeyi removed all her ornaments, when she went to the Krodhagara. She removed all her ornaments and her heavy drapery, and was draped in an unattractive cloth, when she wanted to meet Dasharatha. Then we have Sita throwing all her ornaments, while she is being abducted from the Vimana. And then the Vanaras get hold of that. And Hanuman shows these ornaments to Rama. And Rama is filled with tears. He can't see even the ornaments. He asks Lakshmana to identify. And there we have a beautiful shloka. Naham janami keyure. Nupure tvabhijanami satatam padavandana. That's a lofty value. But keyura, kundala, nupura, etc. we get to know so many jewelry. Then as far as clothing is concerned, normally there were two pieces of clothes, both for men and women, the upper and the lower, unstitched. It was only kanchuka which was stitched. Otherwise, like dhoti, as a lower garment, and something like uttariya for the upper garment. And the ladies had an extra one to tie their hair, or the uttariya only they will, like dupatta we take, from the head and covering the hair. So of course there are ushnishas mentioned for men and kings, especially turbans covering the head. Ravana, Indrajit, they are described as Raktoshnisha Dharaha, Rakta Ushnisha Dharaha. And then Shlakshna Kashaya Samvitaha Ravana. He is wearing Paduka. When he comes in the form of a bhikshu to abduct Sita, he is robed, he is attired in a very fine Kashaya Vastra. Very fine, Shlakshna, Talam, Kashaya Vastra. And otherwise in Lanka, he wears red cloth, silken cloth with embroidery. Red embroidered dhoti he wears. Sita is always described as Pita Kausheya. Pita Kausheya Vasana, Pita Kausheya, yellow silk garment. And it is when she got married, Janaka gave along with her so many carpets and blankets as Kanyadhana, Then hermit's dress was usually made up of leaves, grass, and the skin, especially the deer skin, antelope skin. The Nagarakas, the city people, their clothes were made by cotton or hemp, shana, or silk, kausheya, or linen, shauma, or woolen, aurana. So these are the various materials, fabric which was used by the people. Headdresses like crown, mukuta and kirita are mentioned, and so many jewelries like kundalas, many types of kundalas. Basically, vartulakara. Kundala means vartula, and therefore the rounded ring-like thing, but with embellishment. Then graivayakas are that which is worn in the griva. So it is kanthasutra or hara or srak or hemasutra mala. There are so many types there. Then kanchi or rachana dama or mekhala, they are mentioned. Valaya is mentioned. Keyura, Nupura, Angada, they are mentioned. And special assistants were there for snapakas, for giving bath to the royal people, to anoint them, massage karna, ye wo, So we have Sairandri in the Mahabharata, Draupadi being Sairandri, but Anulepaka and Snapakas are mentioned. Okay. Then Angaraga, Gandha of various scented powders and cosmetics that was used by all. In fact, there is a reference, just in one shloka, there is a reference that Anjana, Hanuman's mother, was seen by Vayu, and then he fell in love with her. She was wearing at that time a yellow garment with red border. Yellow garment with red border. And she was smeared with sandal paste, and he was enamored by her beauty. Then Anasuya gifted superior type of lepers, anjans, to Sita. So there are numerous examples of this. Then this will also take us to the music, both the Lavakusha singing, So Ayodhya and Lanka reverberating with the music played perpetually. It is given in the first and the fifth kanda, the Sundara Kanda and the Balakanda. And there are so many verses, Lavakusha, coming there. Pathye geyecha madhuram pramanaihi tribhihi anvitam saptabhihi jatibhihi yuktam tantri laya samanvitam, etc., etc. And rasayukta tautu gandharva tattvadnyo. Both these boys, they are expert in Sangeeta Vidya, Gandharva Vidya. And they appeared like Gandharva Ivarupina. They were actually looking like the Gandharva children. And the three sthanas like Mandra, Madhyama, Tara, coming from Hridaya, Kantha and Shira, they are also mentioned. Then Lahadayat Sarva Gatrani, Manasi Hridayani Cha, Shrotrashraya Sukham Geyam, Tadbabho Janasamsadi. So in the music also there are two types, like, Marga Vidhana Sampada, Ramavachaha Agayatam, Baukumaro. So Marga and Deshi are the two types of singing. Marga is mostly in Sanskrit, and Deshi is in Prakrit. And instruments of various types like Dindima, Dundubi, Bheri, Mridanga, Panava, Pataha, Shankha, Tantri, Vallaki, Veena, Venu, all these music instruments are used there, referred to. Then so many festivals and recreations, because recreations are meant to break the human monotony, and therefore there are samana, the girls flock to merrymaking and finding a suitable husband, something like a marriage bureau of today. Then samaja, where men came together, Shilpa, studied by princes for proficiency, skill enhancement, and other things like gambling. Dyuta was a popular play. Ashtapada, chess was a popular play. Hunting, especially by the Kshatriyas. Then wrestling, fishing. These sports are also meant for diverting their monotony. And the descriptions come in the three kandas, especially Ayodhya, Kishkinda and Sundarakanda. In addition to that, there were goshtis where people recited light poetries, exchanged thoughts, and exchanged wit and humor, Now, some repercussions of these we find in Ramalila, especially in the northern parts of India. Then Yakshagana, Talamaddale in Karnataka, Kathakali in Kerala. Then Kirtan Parampara in Maharashtra, Harikathe in Andhra. So in every state, mostly we have the what you can say versions of Ramayana in the performing arts, in the In the Southeast Asian countries, there are Wayang Wong, Wayang Kulit, Bechang. So these are various like folk dances, then the puppet shows and shadow plays and Kon, the mask dance. So all these are, they reflect the customs and the culture of this society. Now coming to the end now, symbolism, there is one like the spiritual symbolism is talked about, that Rama is pure knowledge, jnana. Lakshmana stands for Vairagya and Sita for Bhakti. Rama is Satya, Lakshmana is Seva, and Sita is Satitva, the Pativratya. Rama embodies Dharma, Ramo Dharma Bhritambaraha. Lakshmana is Karma, and Sita is Dharmikata. Dharmikata is inseparable from Dharma, and therefore Rama Sita, inseparable pair. Similarly, Rama could be Shiva or Brahma, Lakshmana is Jivatma, and Sita is the Maya. So, and Ravana is Ahankara. No two opinions on that. Ravana is Ahankara, and his 10 heads represent the Pancha Jnanendriyas and Pancha Karmendriyas. And Vibhishana is the Sumanas. He tries to dissuade him. So thus Ramayana helps us discover our inner self by conquering the ego, that is Ravana. And there is this Rama Ravana Yogo Yuddham Aharnisham Asmin Sharire, Asmakam Sharire. So the Ramayana exercises a tremendous influence on individual, social, religious and spiritual life of the common people of India. Not only India, outside also we have seen. And we can just say, Yavasthasyanti Girayaha Saritascha Mahitale Tavad Ramayana Katha Lokeshu Pracharishyati. Now, just while concluding, I am giving some references also to read, but how Itihasas can help us to grow further and develop further our researches. So Rama was born in Ayodhya, existed thousands of years back, and now we are rediscovering his Janmabhoomi and building a temple there. His travel from Ayodhya to Sri Lanka could be traced and verified, could be tracked. Not only that, the geography of different locations, the climatic conditions, the Ramasetu. We have the very wonderful work by Dr. Bhave, Jemha Pushpak Vimanani Uddan Kele Vagare, and the flora and fauna. Recently, two scholars from Chennai, M. Amritalingam and P. Sudhakar, they have brought about their thesis, and in that both are botanists, and they have worked on the 182 plants, including flowers, trees and fruits mentioned in the Ramayana. And they have worked with the CPR Environmental Education Center in Chennai and confirmed the existence of this flora and fauna mentioned by Valmiki. I have given a link. The book is freely downloadable. It is available on Academia Education. So with this, I stop. These are the very few very, primary books which everybody must refer to while working on Ramayana, which I have referred. With this, I think I should take a break from this 1 hour talk on the cultural studies in Ramayana. Thank you. Hari Om. See you again after a break.
Thank you so much, madam. It was absolutely fantastic, beautiful, and all Satyam Shivam Sundaram, we got into it.